It's with a heavy heart that I have to do this video because unfortunately, not every character can be a must summon, not everybody can be nut-bustingly broken, and unfortunately that is the case for Summer Suzuka, which really sucks because I love Suzuka as much as the next guy. I was really hoping we would get the Santa version of Suzuka that they had in arcade. We got her as the summer version instead, and she's so close. She does so many things that you would think are really strong, and that are really strong, but she's just not quite there. She's good enough if you want her to stay in her lane and farm against casters, but the moment you try to bring her to other things, she starts to fall apart a little bit. Now, that doesn't mean she's not going to be good going into boss fights, and it doesn't mean you can't use her as a quick looper if you want to use her, but it is just really unfortunate. This is one of those ones that I was really excited about when they announced it 2 years ago, and I remember it like it was just yesterday. That video got a lot of dislikes because I had to say that nobody else had the strength to say, this unit is kinda mid. But mid does not mean bad, as I will hopefully outline in this video and hopefully show you that there are some use cases for this character. They do actually have some very powerful effects packed into their kit, and they could easily be saved by just a future buff if they want to toss one her way. I mean, if they're able to save somebody like Bradamante from going to not being able to loop to now being able to do Black Grail looping, then surely there is some hope for our tan waifu over here. But with that being said, strap in and get comfortable, log on to your favorite social media app or apps, as that is going to be your summoning catalyst for this video. And of course, make sure you drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, as it's absolutely free and helps me more than you know, and keeps you up to date on all things going on both the NA and JP side of the game. But without further ado, let's start diving into her kit, starting off with her hits. And again, this is very deceptive because I really like the way that her deck is built as a quick character. Having the double quick and the double arts does mean that if you don't have the quick cards, you at least have your 2 arts cards that you can rely upon for a really good NP refund, especially if you're going to be doing crits, which is kind of the name of the game for quick characters in the first place, so that's really good. And the hits on all of her cards are really strong. 4 on the quicks, 4 on the arts, and 5 on that omnipresent extra attack. If you're not in the know, let me put you up. The extra attack is a composite card that gen stars NP and does big boy damage. And because technically this is going to be the 4-star on the banner, you should pull more copies of her as you're rolling for people like Summer Castoria, or if you're trying to get Summer Chloe for certain setups. You snag a couple of copies of your Summer Suzuka, maybe you spice up her append skills a little bit. Lord knows this character could actually really use some of those append skills. In fact, just to kind of talk about those for a little bit, the 3rd append skill is always an interesting one just depending on what bonus damage they're going to have, and for her it's going to be against Lancers, which I guess is kind of interesting. It does open up her power mod a little bit more, not just to the Berserkers and Casters in her power mods, but also Lancer enemies as well. It makes her perform pretty decently against them. But the 4th and 5th append skill I think are going to be very strong for this character, because the free bonus crit damage as a quick character is going to be a monstrous upgrade for her, and she already does something for skill cooldown reduction, so that 5th skill might actually help her out a little bit. But at least in the interim right now, you do want to be going for that 2nd skill, because being able to open up what CEs you're going to be using with her, because spoiler alert, she does not have a 50% battery. Unfortunately, she has a battery, just not the all-powerful 50, giving her the 20% from her 2nd append while also having a 30%, spoiler battery in her kit will open her up to working pretty well with some 50% starting charge CEs. Now with that being said, let's start getting into her kit, starting off with skill 1, BF Super Summer. Bro, I'm about to have a BF Super Summer with Suzuka. I don't care if she's mid. This skill is going to be giving her a 20% attack buff to the entire party, and if you are a Summer Servant, you get 20% NP damage for 3 turns, and she also bombs 15 stars on a low 5-turn cooldown. This is really strong. A very good open to not just a farming character, but a farming character that can also support other members in your party. Remember, last year we had some pretty good summer mode servants come out. Summer Ibuki, kinda good, just a little bit decent. But then you also have Summer Castoria that's on her banner, and this could already kind of form a 1-2 punch. where if you need somebody to knock out AoEs for you, theoretically you could use Summer Suzuka for that, and then she can give bonus damage to people like Summer Castoria as if she already needs it, but to ensure that you could push through some of these 90++ nodes. Now, the problem with that is that you'll need Summer Suzuka to take out some of the other nodes, but maybe that's where she'll perform a lot better, where she only needs to worry about 1 or 2 nodes instead of having to loop all 3 of them. But all in all, very, very strong, because a lot of your really strong farming characters are going to be your summer servants. Think just historically about people like Summer Masashi, think of your Summer Kamas, you have Summer Ibuki, Summer Melusine, like these are all summer farming characters that you could use her with in a multi-core setup. So it's already kind of a good skill with some really good partners for it, and it's only going to get better because we get summer characters every single year and they always turn out to be pretty good. Moving into her second skill, Supernatural Power. Summer in parentheses. This is going to be giving her a 20% quick buff for 3 turns, 50% crit damage for 3 turns, and an on-attack buff that whenever she lands a critical hit, she will increase her attack by 10% for 3 turns, and all of that is on a decent 6-turn cooldown. This is where I think we see a little bit of the issue. Her own quick buff is a little bit low. Sure, she does have the passive 10% quick from riding, so realistically, this is a 30% quick buff, but quick is really adamant about wanting their quick buff because it not only gives them more damage, but it increases the NP refund of your quick cards. So I think that is one of the problems with Summer Suzuka, because her hits aren't bad, her NP gain is fine. Maybe you could add a couple of extra hits on her NP, but I do think if they just wanted to give her a little bit more on this quick buff, it would go a long way in helping her out. Now, obviously, the crit damage can be good if you're relying on face cards. You know, you don't do enough damage when you fire the NP and you need face cards to follow up. That can be really good, but realistically, the last 2 effects here are going to be for your challenge quest runs, where she is actually pretty decent because of what she's got on her NP. So the more you're critting the enemy and you're just critting them into oblivion, because remember, you're a quick character, you get to use OG and Ruler Scotty, so you're getting 100% quick crit and 100% buster crit, which is a little bit unfortunate for her deck because she's only rocking the 1 buster card, so that's a little bit of a sacrifice you take on that. But again, the arts cards do help her refund a lot of her NP back, so I guess we take those, but still, you're going to be doing a lot of crits, so getting the extra attack buffs isn't all that hard. And if you ever get into a scenario where, say you had a bunch of Suzuka's cards on turn 3, the deck reshuffles, you get the brand new deck and you get more of her cards, you could really start stacking this to an insane degree. Or if you're doing some type of solo setup with your Summer Suzuka, because you have her cards every single turn, and this isn't a normal hit-based one where it says, oh, for 3 attacks you'll get the stacks. It just says, anytime you crit in the next 3 turns, free 10% attack. You can really start stacking this to a little bit of an absurd level. It's kind of funny, but realistically, for farming, you just click this whenever. If you're going into CQs, you can click this whenever you want to fire the NP or want to start doing some massive crits and stacking attack. Finally, we have her third skill, Summer Flag, and this is where I thought this character was going to be really nutty, because read this skill, dude. 30% targetable NP gain for 1 ally for 3 turns, reduce their skill cooldown by 1, and gives herself a self 30% battery. Those are all really good effects, and they're split in a really nice way. It's just a little bit different from how Castoria's second skill works, but you know, you're still giving the NP gain, you're getting the battery, you use it on herself, so you're getting extra NP refund, so you're going to be refunding like a madman, but unfortunately, it just doesn't end up working out very well for her. I mean, again, against casters, she does fine. Thankfully, she's a rider, and I think that is anticipated for you to use her against, you know, casters for the extra NP refund. But it's just really rough because this character does so many cool things. You have basically just infinite attack stacks while ever, you know, you get any of your crits, so you can get up to absurdly high attack stats. You've got this cool skill cooldown synergy, which probably won't be fully realized until we get the 5th append skill, but she's still giving herself the battery, so you can't mess that up. And then her first skill synergizes really well with all of the very powerful Summer Servants, so she's got a lot going on in these skills, but just when you look at the gameplay and when she's able to farm, or in one of the gameplays we were farming the Lost Belt 4 node and she wasn't even able to finish it with a triple Scotty setup. We weren't even trying anything fancy with Black Grail. We were giving her a starting 50% gauge and one that gives her a quick buff as well, so she's getting even more NP refund, and she just barely couldn't make it. Which is why I'm saying you probably do want to invest in that append skill, because then you can afford to not use like the Scotty batteries on the first turn because you have that extra 20%. That's why I'm saying that that is so important. But finally, let's look at her NP. Her NP, again, very strong. It's got caked in pierce invincibility into it, so that means no invulns, no dodges, no nothing is going to stop your Suzuka from running somebody over and taking a screenshot, putting hashtag just ran this guy over on whatever servant Twitter is, while she's also smacking them for 30% power mod damage against lawful aligned enemies, and also has a big Mondo Earth power mod tied to her overcharge effect, 150 to 200% depending on your overcharge level. This is why I think she could be pretty decent going into CQ. She has no survivability, so that's not very great, you know, considering that the Scotties don't really do much to keep you alive, but it does build her in a way where she's functionally looking at the enemy and saying, look, I'm not going to protect myself, my supports aren't going to protect me, but we are going to turn you into paste before you can do anything, because we're getting through all your defenses. I've got 2 pretty solid power mods. I'm going to stack attack as the fight goes on, and even if I'm not refunded a bunch off of my NP, my face card crits do refund quite a bit of NP back. And it does make her fun to use, it's just unfortunately not the craziest servant, right? Like I said at the beginning of the video, I do think she falls in that mid category where you can use her for a lot of things. You can bring her to farming setups. You can get her to work. You know, if you have Kaleidoscope, right, that's pretty much a free NP that can kind of let just any quick character do whatever they want. Because when you've got K-Scope giving you a free turn 1, then you've got your own battery plus 3 Scotty batteries lined up. It's kind of embarrassing if you can't loop at that point. But she's just not one of the greater quick AoE characters, which always hurts, I think, a bit more, because quick has this stigma of already being the least viable card type. I'm not going to say it's bad, because clearly not bad. You can still get through and farm and do all the things. It just seems to be harder for them because they don't loop as much as the Arts characters do. They don't have that easy of a time, and they do not have nearly the level of broken supports that Arts does, and they can't utilize Oberon as well as the Buster guys, nor the Arts guys, who basically get to use Black Grail for free. So when a quick character comes out and they're a little bit mid, it does make me a bit sad. I mean, she's even got a really cool Bond CE that if you make her your Grand Rider, which if you do, massive respect for that, that's investing in a character for who they are or just how wifeyable they are and not for gameplay. Because this one, while you have it equipped, all of your Summer Servants, 25% bonus NP damage, which I think also does show that for this character, they probably were just going along the lines of we want them to be a big damaging guy and not really a big looping guy, which, yeah, they're a little bit lower on the chart. They can get to some pretty decent levels, you know, don't get me wrong, with their power mods and stacking attack, but that clearly seems to be the direction they're going in. You know, they didn't give her, like, bonus NP gain or anything, although that might be a little nutty. Can you imagine all summer characters getting 25% NP refund? That'd be crazy. But no, yeah, I think it's a really cool Bond CE. If you do make her your Grand Rider, props to you, you know, real cool. But should you be summoning on the banner specifically for Suzuka? Unfortunately, I can't say no, she's not that good that you gotta summon on the banner exclusively for her. But thankfully, she's on a really good banner. She's on the banner with Summer Castoria and Summer Chloe, both of which are really nutty. Summer Chloe opens up your account to a lot of different setups, maybe even some setups involving Summer Suzuka, and Summer Castoria is just broken. Like, she's just really good. So thankfully, if you're a fan of Summer Suzuka, you should probably be summoning on this banner anyway, you know, a little wink wink nudge nudge, and not feel bad if she happens to fall into your Chaldea. So hopefully that's a little bit of good copium, and this character's not bad. Again, I think they just fall under mid, but they can't all be bangers. Not every character can be an S tier, you know, broken nuts to butts, destroying the game. We have enough of that going on with Draco and Tiamat and Summer Castoria and Ace and all this nonsense. All right, we can relax a little bit, and they can just give us a hot Summer Cert. So with that being said, let me know in the comment section down below if you have gotten your grubby little mitts on your Tan GF wifey. Hopefully this video will serve as a summoning catalyst for people that are going specifically for her. I wish you the best of luck. I hope you get NP5 in one multi, because then, even if she's not looping the best, you can just be doing Mondo amount of damage. So hopefully that works out for you. As per usual, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all things going on both the NA and JP side of things, as I do put out these videos every single day. And if you just can't get enough of me, well, we got some links down in the description down below. We got the Twitch, where I stream every weekday. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is FGO. Tuesday, Thursday is going to be Wuthering Waves, or Arc Knights, or Nikke, or probably Star Rail getting ready for the collab. But I do it on both YouTube and Twitch, just for whichever browser you prefer to be watching on. We've also got a Discord down there in the description down below, so if you got any questions on how do you make your Summer Suzuka go nuts to butts broken, well, we got an FGO channel where people can tell you all about that, or you could just yap about lore, argue about things in there. I don't know. You can do whatever you want. Dokkan is the buff boys chat. If you just like big beefy lads and popping bubbles, then that is the chat for you. Yu-Gi-Oh is the chat for nobody. Don't go in there. It's a barren wasteland, and they're all degenerate. We have the Nikkei chat, which actually I take it back what I said about Yu-Gi-Oh. The Nikkei chat is full of degenerates by proxy. The Yu-Gi-Oh chat is wholesome. And then finally we have the Hoyo chat, where if you're going to be playing Star Royal because of the new collab, you know, you're playing Genshin, or any of those other Hoyo-like games, you know, I'm sure Wuthering Waves counts for that. You know, you can go join that chat to get a little bit of help. But if you want to join the Illuminati chat, the Elite, you'll need to find your way down to the Patreon, where you'll get access to patron-exclusive videos, and you get to decide what videos come out on Fridays here on the channel, because usually Fridays aren't super busy. But if Fridays are super busy, then they do get postponed sometimes. But look, all the tier lists and the Babbage video that I'm never going to let them live down, those are all the patrons' ideas. So if you want to be a part of that, Patreon is down there in the description for you, but it is not necessary. Watching the video, liking it, commenting, being a part of the community, listening to my yapping, that's more than enough for me. But with all that being said, I'm gonna stop yapping on that note. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Ciao, ciao.